He's already involved in politics, but William Forkiller is running in a new race. He's up next, and lofty goals and lots of talent. It's all paying off for McKinley Lair. You'll meet this outstanding high school senior a little later on Green Country Perspectives. Hello, I'm Sam Jones, and this is my perspective. Well, it's April, and the boys of summer are back. They've dusted off their bats and gloves and put on the uniforms that identify each as a St. Louis Cardinal or a New York Yankee or member of whatever team to which they belong. Now, the major league stadiums, as well as those little scruffy plots of ground and all in between, have welcomed them back with open arms. So too have millions of baseball fans. It's an American tradition. But April in Oklahoma also marks an anniversary. It was April 19th, 1995, 20 years ago, when Timothy McVeigh drove a rented truck that he'd converted to a rolling bomb to the front of the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. He parked, lit the fuse, and walked away. Moments later, it exploded. Now, I was working for Channel 6, the CBS affiliate in Tulsa, and getting ready to leave for the studio when that bomb went off. In the hours that followed, the number of fatalities and injuries grew until finally we learned 168 people had died, including 19 very young children. Well, my phone started ringing, and the calls would come one after another for hours. One of the calls in the bedlam that followed came from our younger daughter. She was a student at the University of Oklahoma, a journalism major, and was working as an intern for an Oklahoma City television station. Now, around our house, we've learned that if she called me, it was usually about television or the industry, somehow. If she called her mother, it was about life. But when this call came, it took a moment for me to grasp the tone of her voice. There was no, "Hi, Dad, it's me." This time what I heard was, "Daddy, I was there." Not clear on what she meant, I asked, "What do you mean? You were where?" Her answer would shake me to my very foundation. "Daddy, I was there, in the Murrah Federal Building. I was there the day before to pick up some papers for the station. I was there yesterday at about the same time as today's blast." Now, I can't tell you what I felt at that moment, but I can tell you her words still ring clear in my mind. Sometimes, late at night, just before I drift off to sleep, I'll hear her voice. "Daddy, I was there." And the what-ifs come down the hall, climb up on my pillow, and start to whisper in my ear. What if Timothy McVeigh had lit that fuse the day before, on April 18th? What if she'd gone to the Murrah Federal Building on April 19th? I always get up because I know sleep is out of the question, but my feelings always shrink to petty insignificance because I also think of the lives cut short and the unending heartbreak of the families and the loved ones left behind. Now, their suffering can't be measured, and it continues even now. An empty place at the table, an unused high chair or baby bed, another passing birthday or anniversary, a phone call that never comes. I always remember, especially when both of our daughters and their families are with us, and I'm reminded that life is so very fleeting. It can be taken away in the blink of an eye. It can change so quickly. It also happened, you see, in New York City. If you ever have the opportunity to visit and you're there, don't fail to go to Ground Zero. Stop first, though, at the historic St. Paul's Chapel. That's about a block away, maybe a little less. George Washington visited on his inauguration day. Now, this chapel survived the Revolutionary War and the tragic events of 9/11. There's a fence around it, and that fence protects the graves of several historic figures and became a fence of tribute as people from all around the world and right here at home left thoughts, prayers, and pictures of the missing and confirmed dead. New York City was one of the first to respond to the Oklahoma City bombing with volunteer police, fire, EMTs, and laborers. And when thousands were murdered at Ground Zero, many of Oklahoma's best rushed to help. When you enter St. Paul's, you're greeted by displays of first responder patches, notes, photographs. All were left on the chapel fence following the death and destruction of 9/11. Then at the east end of the chapel, nearest Ground Zero, hangs a large canvas banner that was initially fastened to the fence outside, and it reads, and I quote, "To New York City and all the rescuers, keep your spirits up. Oklahoma loves you," end quote. It's signed by police, fire, EMTs, and rescuers from Oklahoma City. You see, the two towns will forever be connected. The message at Ground Zero is the same one you'll find at the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. That message is one word, and that word is remember. We will. I'm Sam Jones, and that's my perspective.